Good God, we're millionaires.
Jesus, did you know I was that loaded?
Hey, I wasn't...
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most iconic films from the 70s, The Sting, 1973, directed by George Roy Hill and starring Robert Redford and Paul Newman. While the film may seem like a straightforward con game, there are some bizarre and lesser-known facts about the movie that you might not be aware of. Let's take a look at 10 weird facts that will make you see The Sting in a whole new light. Paul Newman almost didn't star in The Sting. You might find it hard to believe, but Paul Newman almost didn't take the role of Henry Gondorff, the seasoned con artist. It was initially offered to Jack Nicholson, but he turned it down. After that, Newman was brought in, and the chemistry between him and Robert Redford became one of the standout aspects of the film. Can you imagine the movie without Newman's smooth charisma? It certainly would have been a different vibe. The film's famous score was almost different. The music of The Sting is unforgettable, especially Scott Joplin's ragtime compositions. But did you know that the film's original score was actually going to be a lot more contemporary? Composer Marvin Hamlisch was originally hired to write a more traditional orchestral score. But after discussing the period setting of the film, he suggested using Joplin's rags instead. The decision was a stroke of genius, and the music became just as iconic as the film itself. The legendary sitting on the porch scene. There's one particular scene in The Sting where Paul Newman and Robert Redford are sitting on the porch, discussing their plan. While the scene may seem calm and peaceful, it actually wasn't supposed to be filmed there at all. The scene was written to take place inside, but during filming, the crew found a porch that looked perfect. Newman and Redford were so relaxed and natural in the setting that the director decided to go with it, and the rest is history. The film was almost much shorter. The original cut of The Sting was much shorter than what we ended up seeing in theaters. It ran about 20 minutes shorter, which would have made it feel more like a standard con movie. However, after test screenings, George Roy Hill decided to add more character development and scenes, particularly the emotional moments between Newman and Redford, which helped to build that iconic partnership. It's safe to say, those extra minutes made all the difference. Robert Redford's eye-catching trick. Robert Redford's character, Johnny Hooker, is all about charm and misdirection. In one memorable scene, he uses an eye-catching trick to distract a crowd during the con. Interestingly, Redford wasn't the one who came up with that particular trick. It was the idea of the film's visual consultant, who had studied old con artists' methods. So, the next time you watch that scene, remember, Redford's character isn't the only one pulling off the sleight of hand. The film's iconic costume design was inspired by real life. The costumes in The Sting are a big part of its charm, especially the sharp suits worn by both Redford and Newman. The film's costume designer, Edith Head, used real-world fashion from the 1930s as inspiration, and much of the wardrobe was based on the actual clothing worn by con artists during that era. It wasn't just about looking good. The clothes helped to build the illusion of trustworthiness, which is a crucial part of any con. The real inspiration behind the film. While The Sting is a fictional tale of con artists, it was loosely inspired by real-life figures from the Great Depression era, specifically a con man named Eddie H.G. Kearns. Kearns was known for running elaborate grifts, much like the ones in the film. In fact, the term The Sting is a reference to a con known as the Big Con, which was popular during the 1930s. The film's portrayal of con artistry, from the planning to the execution, draws heavily from these real-life exploits. The famous train sequence almost didn't happen. The train robbery scene in The Sting is one of the most memorable in the film, but it almost didn't happen. Originally, the film's producers didn't think a train sequence would work in a con movie, but director George Roy Hill insisted. The scene was added late in production, and when it was completed, it became one of the film's standout moments, helping to solidify the con's grand finale. The film's success came as a surprise. When The Sting was released, no one expected it to become as successful as it did. The movie was a massive hit, grossing over $160 million worldwide. and it went on to win 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Interestingly, though, the cast and crew were so focused on making a good movie that they didn't even think it would be nominated for any awards, let alone win big at the Oscars. The ending was kept a secret. The twist at the end of The Sting is one of the most famous in film history. However, to preserve the surprise, the final scene was kept a closely guarded secret. Even the actors weren't told about the twist until the very last moment of filming. This helped to ensure that their reactions would be genuine, and it certainly paid off. The audience's stunned reaction when the twist is revealed is unforgettable. So there you have it, weird facts about The Sting that you might not have known before. From behind-the-scenes stories to real-life inspirations, these little details only add to the film's charm. If you've never seen The Sting, or if it's been a while, maybe it's time to revisit this classic and spot some of these fun facts yourself. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more movie facts and deep dives. See you next time!